Okay, good morning. So we're up to Shin Tes Vov Sif base. We're working through the halachas of Ohel. We said yesterday in Sif Aleph that you're not allowed to make an Ohel on Shabbos. It's a told of Boina we spoke about, and we discussed also making walls, mechitzas. That was yesterday. What we're going to discuss today is this continuation of being Moisif al Ohel Arai. And therefore we said that even though you can't make an Ohel on Shabbos, that's an Ohel Kavua. But an Ohel Arai, a temporary one, is okay. But Chazal made a gezeira against it, and therefore it's also midrabanan. However, if you're being moisif on Ohel Arai, that is allowed. And we'll see an interesting application of this today. So let's take a look. Base, says the Machaber, Eitzim shetokin reishon ha'echad b'dofen hasfina. You've got a sort of a beam of wood, a plank of wood, which is stretched across the, let's say, the width of a boat. So eitzim shetokin reishon echad b'dofen hasfina, v'koifin reishon hasheni b'dofen hasheni shasfina. And the beam is going across the width of the boat. It's inserted into both sides. Person machatzeles aleihem letzel. And you want to stretch some material, some tarpaulin or something over the beam for shade. Im yesh beroch bon tefach. If the beam has a width of a tefach, then you're allowed to do it, basically, because you've already got your ohel, you've got your structure, you've got your cover, and you're just being moisif al ha'ohel, and that would be okay. Or even if it's not, the individual beam is not a tefach, if you've got a series of beams, but they're within 3 tefachim of each other, and therefore you can apply the principle of lovud, chashivi ka'ohel, that's considered like an ohel which is there, and therefore mutar lifres aleim b'Shabbos machatzeles. You can just stretch this material over the beams on Shabbos to have a tosefes ohel arai v'shari. You're simply adding to the ohel tosefes ohel arai, and therefore it's allowed. If you've got some sort of covering which is open a tefach, you're allowed to extend it over Shabbos. That's aside from if it was when it's all rolled up. It's got to be opened a tefach and then you're okay. And we'll see that this has application to an awning or to a baby carriage. If you've got a pram where you've got the hood of the carriage, and in sort of attaching it in the first place could be problematic. But if it's already open a tefach and you just say we're opening it more, then you're okay. And that will come to in a sec. Let's just do the Mishnah Berurah. Okay, so the Mechaber said, the koifin reishon. So you've got a ship and you've got beams of wood stretching across it. Hainu, she'oisin kamei chishukin she'korin raifin al pnei reichev asfina milmalo. You got, I think chashukin means clasps. You've got these woods stretched across. You've got lots of beams going across. I'll call Orach sfina, the length of the boat. Okay, I said width, the length of the boat. So too, the crib of a child, where you've got these pieces of material going across the top, and then you want to stretch sadin lahogen peazvuvin, and you want to strip, sort of place some material over the supports. If these beams, the supports are there in place before Shabbos, you're allowed to put a material, a cloth over them on Shabbos. Again, the svara is because once you've got these beams across, they're more than a tefach. You've got an ohel, and by you putting some material over it, you're just spreading over an existing ohel. And if you're being moisif on the ohel arai, and therefore it's not a problem. Vuadin to also lifre sadin al ha'agala. So too, you can't just initially spread material over a carriage, let's say a baby carriage. To also gamkein lahagen amash tachter vavikoyel, because you're making an oil, because you're putting something on top of the carriage to protect what's underneath it, i.e. the baby or whatever you're carrying. And the only way to do it is if it was open a tefach from before Shabbos. Like the Shulchan Aruch says. Why do we not consider this an ohel keva? Because it's a temporary setup to put these things across. You want to take things in and out of the agola. You want to take the baby in and out, so it's not a permanent setup. Baruch bon tefach. So if you've got a beam of wood going across whose width is a tefach, shereichav ha'etz, says in Shemuriyud Gimel, shereichav ha'etz ha'ogol ha'tefach, afilu rak be'echod mehen. even if, in other words, the diameter, even if it's it's a circumference, it's a circular shape, but the diameter is a tefach. Even if one beam has that dimension, even if in one area you've got beams of wood which are within 3 tefachim of each other, and that makes it in total 1 tefach width, so you're okay. And then you're good to go. Then you're still being moisiv al oil aray. Yudalet chashivi ka'elo muta. The davka lases oil aray mitchila asa avlim nase kfar muta lo hisiv aleh. But if it's already been done, you're just being moisiv on it, and therefore it's okay. Ubozeh kivin shoy be'etz echod reichav tefach. And since one of the beams going across the ship is already a shear of a tefach to shear oil, which is the shear of an oil, or they're within 3 tefachim, and therefore you can combine them, and it gives because of lovud. Halachically, it's as if the beams are connected, they're joined. Okay, says the Mishnah Berurah, since it was open a tefach from before Shabbos, you can extend the covering even more. Because again, you're being moisif on el aray. But without that, it's a problem. After the kambas, if you give an amrin into eina osa mishum el aray el kashaisa gam mechitzas tachtov. We said previously that the problem of oil aray is when you're making supports underneath, you're making mechitzas underneath it. Shani hosam shaisa lehedja bishvil oil letzel. Here it's clear that you're doing this just for shade, to protect from rain or the cold. Says the Mechaber, the Mishnah Berurah Tezayin, if the covering was open l'shem gag ukarcha me'er Shabbos, and then you rolled it before Shabbos, tefach porus that it's got to have been opened at least a tefach so that you can extend it on Shabbos. If it's all, imagine a baby carriage, the hood, it's all, it's like closed. In other words, it's open, so the baby, you're going to put the baby in, and the top of the hood is against the top of the carriage. So it's all squashed together. Now it could be that that's a tefach, but really it's got to be open a tefach for you to extend it. That's what it's saying. The squashed part does not count as the tefach. You've got to leave one tefach which is already open, which is sort of it's sort of pulled open aside from the folds of the actual rolled material. Okay, yesh me'achronim shekosfu ta'afilu hachi lifres machzeles k'shi krucha al eze dova sheshayich by el lehedja, that even in the case of a machatzeles, to open it up when it's rolled up, also mishamayel the dafka bazeh who pours mitchila or karchole mechzik bazeh kameshayel oil aval a sitza kach k'shi krucha al dova acher is also, when it's in place then it's also. So let me just read to you 2 points. One is from the footnote 37 to just explain this a bit more clearly. Look at 37. It's on the next page in my one, at the bottom of the right column. V'gagoin miskapel shel agalas tinoik. So this is what we're talking about. The hood of a carriage, a baby pram or something. Shebeknisas haShabbos hayem mekufel, ba'evin shlo b'reichiv tefach. So before Shabbos, it's totally pushed back. So it's not open at all. Sha'adin hu shemutzah lepoischiv lekofel b'Shabbos. Das hagonim shlomo zalman Auerbach shela'achar sheposcha yesh b'reichiv tefach. That once you've opened it a little bit, a tefach, then you're allowed to extend it. It's if it's already open on Erev Shabbos. And the way he puts it over here in the Shabbos Home, Volume 2, he talks about both the two practical examples. One is awnings and one is baby carriages. So regarding awnings, he says as follows: a collapsible awning that is attached to a building, e.g. an awning over a porch, may be opened and closed on Shabbos, even though it is used to protect the people from rain and from sun and rain. Okay, so that's very useful to know. If you've got an awning on the back of your house, an awning is like what's another word for awning? Like a canopy, something like that, where you have you twist it and then it opens up. So he says an awning attached to a building has got a din of an oil ari, being moisif or an oil ari, that you can open and close on Shabbos. That's number one. Yeah, because I think the point is it's going to be definitely going to be exactly. And then what about carriage hood? It is forbidden to attach. Now this is to attach an unfolded hood to the top of a baby carriage on Shabbos. I was asked this question actually over Yom Tov. That to attach the hood on Yom Tov is a problem, or Shabbos. The hood is made to protect the baby from the elements, therefore attaching it violates the prohibition against making a temporary ohel. What if the hood is already attached, and one wishes merely to unfold it? In this case, so it's already attached and it's not open at all. So then some poskim hold that it's permitted, while others maintain that it's forbidden. All agree, however, that if before Shabbos the hood was open sufficiently to cover an area of a tefach, one is permitted to extend it fully on Shabbos. Okay, so in other words, the best thing to do when you've got a baby pram or carriage on Shabbos is to definitely attach the hood before Shabbos and to open it a little bit, and then you've got no problem to extend it to extend it fully on Shabbos. Now, what if you didn't? So he says, if possible, to attach it is a problem, but if it's already attached but you haven't opened it a tefach, so he says, if possible, one should follow the stringent view and refrain from unfolding the hood of a carriage unless it has been opened at least a tefach before Shabbos. In the case of need, one may rely on the lenient view and even open it lechatchila. So again, just regarding the baby carriage, so an awning you can open and close, no problem. Regarding a baby carriage, definitely need to attach it before Shabbos, and you can't attach it on Shabbos. If it's attached and it was not open, then b'diavad you're allowed to open it, but lechatchila you should try and open it at least a tefach, so you're just extending it and you're just being moisif al-ara, and everyone agrees that would be okay. Umbrellas is a different problem. That's
umbrellas of a carriage,
so sunroof, so like a table outside. So again, there you should try and open at least a tefach before Shabbos. It's not a lot. So open it a bit of tefach before Shabbos, so you unwound it, so it's not taut. Open it a tefach before Shabbos, and you're just being moisif al. Right, yeah. Okay, but say that.
Does it make any difference